Welcome back to Western Wilds. Well, hopefully this is now a time where we can do our normal episodes again. Okay, so what I'm going to do, since it takes such a long time for us to be able to harvest our fields, I thought the best thing I could do is create a couple other fields so we can plant something else in them. And I'm kind of trying to make up my mind on exactly how I want to create this other maybe one or two fields. And since we have so much space over here, I thought maybe this is the ideal place for me to do so. So obviously what we're going to do, this is not going to be our just basic rectangular or square fields. So we're going to go a little bit more sort of odd shaped fields on this side. Now I haven't really decided exactly how and all that sort of stuff, so we're just going to play it as we go. We got plenty of space over here, not a lot of trees, which is great. It simply means that there we have plenty of space for us to experiment with fields that are a little bit more odd shape. We're going to need to do a couple of fields that are grass. So once we get into having sheep and cow and horses and all that sort of stuff, that we have some animals to something to feed our animals with. Okay, so we're gonna cut it into here like this. Now, not all of our fields are gonna be massive fields. We're gonna have to do some tiny fields as well. So in this instance, we are going to sort of stick to something a little bit smaller, like not go past that tree over here. And I realized that it's not really, that sort of odd shaped, which is why we're going to kind of go like this a little bit, just to add a little bit of oddness to it. And that's simply just to give us something to do, because otherwise what I'm going to have to do is, plant something and then sleep, and then plant something and sleep. So we're going to have to get ourselves financially in a position where we can get some animals. I may have to just get rid of that one tree, otherwise we're not going to. So we'll just go out and I was going to say, where's my chainsaw? Okay, and this way that should mean that we're somewhere close to the same sort of width. There we are. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to create this field like this, and that way we're going to be able to plant something in this field, and we're going to have some harvesting and all that sort of to do as we go along. So we would have different seasons, different months or days, I suppose. Months is probably a better way to say it in gaming terms, to plant. It almost looks like a, I don't know, whatever. It looks like a love heart of some sort, but very odd shaped love heart. I'm kind of overlapping quite a bit, which is not that crash hot. I still haven't sort of made a decision what we're going to do with that area that is the new usable area. I've noticed that you can't really repair all the gaps in the fences, which is not that big of a deal. It doesn't really bother me. At the end of the day, I could probably delete the whole fence once we have money and just put new fence in, but it's not that big of a deal. I'm sort of leaning either towards production, or once we're okay financially, to put it into a position of removing our base type of thing, over there. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to rush into doing anything with it. It's good as it is. Don't need to make a decision as of right now, because we have plenty of space as far as our yard that I've created at the top here. So there's no need for me to sort of rush into making a decision. Yeah, there's advantages in being there, obviously, and one of the advantages is exactly that, is the fact that we are closer to the middle of the map, and therefore easier to get around, but that's not here or there type of thing. If you have any suggestions, feel free to write them in and say, hey, I think you should do this. Maybe your ideas are better than what I'm thinking. Well, at the moment, like I said, I'm kind of leaning towards production. That would be our production zone, and it'd be the place where we will do different production. Like, I'm not going to put every single production on the available. I tried that on No Man's Land, and I think it gets a bit too much. But having said that, we're on 2 days now, so because we're on 2 days, obviously having production, it's going to keep us a little bit busier, and so maybe that's exactly what needs to happen, is that I need to kind of just do quite a bit of production, but that way we got something to do, and keeps the game more entertaining. But like I said, we're a long way from that, because I don't want to. I did that in No Man's Land after I sort of didn't play that as my my main map. It just became the map that I play every now and then. And I thought, oh well, I'll just add all the production all at once, so I cheated the money in. But what I found out that when you do that, it kind of takes away from the joy of the game. So if all of a sudden you have, the latest equipment and the greatest of everything, you kind of don't feel like playing the game anymore, because I don't know, but you just kind of, whatever, I can just buy whatever tractor I want and whatever money I have, and maybe it's because you don't actually see your progress. You just see yourself with everything that you kind of want for your map right there, and maybe that's the problem. So this is why I didn't want to do this year. Now, this is why I didn't want to add, the tractors that I really wanted, the combines and so on. Like, I really didn't want to upgrade a combine at all, but just purely because he was giving me warning signs, and he was telling me at one stage that that's an issue, that combine, which is an in-game combine. So obviously that wasn't the issue, but I couldn't figure out what was the issue. So because of that, he just kind of made it easy for me to, that's it, I'm getting rid of you type of thing. Alright, we'll do a little bit of a time lapse, and I'll create 2 fields here, and then we'll see what happens. decided that what we're going to do on the bottom part of the map is going to be a couple of fields, and they're going to be our grass fields because they're more meadows type of space that is available here. And I'm not sure if meadow is probably the best description, but more like narrow and long type of fields. I've decided that this is probably the best way to sort of get our grass fields going. And obviously we're going to try and squeeze our cows and all that sort of stuff somewhere around here, around the fields as well. Now we are going to plant grass because, as you know, grass can be planted, I believe, anytime. So we're not really going to be struggling as far as finding the time to do so. As far as grass is going to plant it, that is when I said to do so. No, it's alright. It's good. I was kind of thinking, should I square it off a little bit better? So that's how we're going to sort of do this. Now I realized that I could have... Actually, no, you can't paint grass because I don't think it grows if you paint it. Now we may even put some fields here just for the fun of being different. We may even put some cereal fields over here, but for now they'll just be grass fields. And then as we progress along, we may even start cutting some trees and developing this area into a cereal type of thing. Or we may even sort of just keep this area as grass only and sort of have like a business where we deal with grass. I hope I'm going to get all that bush in one go. Yep, beautiful. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. It's close enough. Now I realize that we're going to have another episode of just plowing and creating fields. So I'm not going to obviously record too much of this, but at least it gives a bit of an idea of what I'm going to do. And that way we can get ourselves into a position where we may even be able to sort of split our business side of this farm, if I can sort of say that, where on this side of the field we'll keep all our grass equipment, but obviously that is once we get enough money that we can have different equipment, like different grass equipment and so on. At the moment we're not in that position, not even close, so we don't have the luxury of having self-propelled mowers and all that sort of stuff. So at the moment we don't even have a mower, so we will definitely need to be using the same equipment as what we use for our cereals for our grass as well, without for quite a while yet, because we need to buy animals, but we are going to plant the grass, and we are going to harvest the grass and sell it. For now it's going to be an income stream for us, and once we get our animals, obviously we're going to feed our animals and sell some of our equipment. What am I saying? Some of our bales or silage or hay or whatever we're going to create out of these fields. All right, I blabbed over enough. We're just going to do this field, and then I'll see when it's done. Alright, so we've got ourselves a couple of fields that we've already plowed. So we are, I was gonna say, before I say we are, let's check. Yes, we can definitely plant grass, that's not a problem. So we are going to plant grass on these two fields that we've done. And that way we're gonna look at taking care of these grass fields, obviously, and getting ourselves into the market of selling grass or silage or something to that something like that, and therefore we make ourselves a little bit of cash. Oh, hang on, wrong. Alright, and here we are planting our grass fields. Now we are obviously going to come back and roll these fields so we get rid of the stones. And obviously we're going to have to fertilize these fields to, to get the full benefit out of our grass fields. And that's obviously the point of what we're doing. Otherwise we would just mow the grass that's available on the map, which is plenty of it. But this way we can actually extend the amount of grass that we get by fertilizing it, and also it gets us farming into a different part of the map, and allows us to better use these forest areas. Let's not get out of the while I'm trying to look ahead. I am missing bits and pieces on the edge, and I hate that when I see the bits and pieces of the map, of the field, not of the map, that is missed. Oh, and I didn't really fix this. But that's okay, we'll come back and fix it. So we're slowly progressing. Hopefully no more issues with mods and maps. I've had my fair share now for FS22. Hopefully this is it, and we're not going to have these issues anymore where I start a map and then issues happen. I had the same problem with No Man's Land, and I had a problem with another map which is the same thing, which I gave up on, and that's Constant, I believe. So hopefully I won't have to restart this map again. I can't see myself wanting to redo all these things all over again. So we're using our DEUTZ, which got the floaters on stars, which I really like. Makes it look nice and chunky, nice and bulky. So suitable for obviously driving onto the field because it helps with compaction in real life. Now obviously, when in the game it really has no influence at all on compaction or anything like that. So there is no issues as far as the game, I don't believe, recognizes the idea of compacting and all that sort of stuff. So I think the game just treats it as tires. I don't think there's any actually benefit from having narrow tires versus wide tires or anything of the sort, or tracks or anything like that in the game. It obviously does help when it comes to if you're going to use like your narrow tires when you're driving through the fields once a couple of stages of growth, but that's about it. And that's obviously if you play with crop destruction. If you have it switched off like I believe I do, again, it makes no difference driving with any tires onto the field. There you are, that's one way to get rid of the shades. So obviously, since we're going to be in grass, we're doing grass on these fields over here, we're going to end up with our animals somewhere over here. I'm going to slow down the planter a little bit, or the seeder a little bit, because it seems to be a little bit too fast, and I don't think that's the smart thing to do. Okay, you know what? Okay, and that's because, come on, don't I? Doesn't this tractor has GPS on it? So why is it not working? Okay, it looks like GPS is not working. Am I having any dramas? No, I'm not. Okay, so there goes that idea that we're going to be using GPS. So we won't be wasting any more time with GPS, since for whatever reason, but I have it there. You can see it that it's there. Am I missing something? Wrong one. Never used the markers until now, so I was curious to see what it actually looks like. Okay, no, we don't want that, we don't want that. I'm not quite sure why I can't seem to switch on GPS. Okay, get rid of that. We definitely don't need that to pop onto the screen. Yeah, so like I said, obviously this is going to be the area where we're going to concentrate on the animals a bit more. But not only that, I'm going to plant some crops here as well, purely because it's, you know, a nice scenery as far as you know, driving a combine in these meadows and all that sort of stuff. And I keep calling them meadows, and I realize they're not. But, you know, I'm talking about in these alleys in between trees and all that sort of stuff. It just looks fantastic, in my opinion. So because of that, we're obviously going to put some crops in here, just for the fun of driving a combine and, you know, different type of harvesters through this more scenic part of the map, if I could sort of use that expression. Which is true, I suppose. This is a little bit more scenic map. Otherwise, the way the map is designed with the trees and a forest, I suppose, on either side, it just looks a little bit nicer, that's all. Okay, so there is gold nuggets, as I've shown on the map. Now, I'm not actively looking for them. I've found 2 so far, and I didn't realize that you do get $50,000 per gold nugget that you find. Like I said, in these 2 that I found, it was just a coincidence that I was plowing in that area, and you know, behind the plow there's a gold nugget. I like the idea of alien hiding gold nuggets just randomly where you would probably put a field in. After all, more like if you're going to find gold in real life, well, you're more likely to dig somewhere and find a piece of gold, aren't you? Now, I'm sure that every farmer in the world would wish that, you know, he just plows his field and there's a $50,000 nugget. But anyway, we'll take it. We're not going to say no. But like I said, I'm not actively seeking. I know there is a code that you can put in and it will show you where all the gold nuggets are. And I'm not going to do that because if we come across them as we're playing the game, we'll obviously collect them. But for me to actively go and seek them or look on YouTube to find out, you know, where the gold nuggets are, I'm not going to be doing that. It's just if we use that area, we find it, we take it, and that's it. Okay, so we're just gonna fix these little bits and pieces that we have over here, and then I believe we got a little bit to go at the other end of the field, and then this grass field has been planted. Now eventually I am going to go across the road and treat this as a one field, if you know what I mean. So it's not going to be two fields, it's just going to be a field that has a road at one side of it, if that. So we'll finish this little bit here as well, and then we'll have a look for any parts that the worker has missed. I put it on courseplay, obviously, as you probably saw at the beginning. There was quite a bit more left than what I assumed it would be, to be honest. I didn't anticipate that there would be so much left over, but that's okay. I'll finish it all up, and then hopefully in the next episode we will get ourselves into a position to get the rollers out here and roll these fields, both of them, and hopefully create some other fields where we can put some crops in, and that way it creates for us work throughout the year, so we're not just sitting around doing nothing, waiting for crops to ripen so we can harvest them. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you very much for your support on my channel, my small channel. Let's turn around and get this little bit here done before we go on the other end. I'd like to welcome the new subscribers, and obviously thank you very much to the subscribers that have stuck with me for the last few months since I've started this channel. And if you have any suggestions, any comments, I would love to read them. I'd like to see what you think, a direction towards for this farm to head towards. And I'd appreciate your comments, and I'd appreciate your feedback. So have a wonderful day wherever you are around the world. God bless you and your families, and we will see you in the very next episode. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.